Okay, so we are in post-show. I am simultaneously ashamed and very proud of that show. So I'm glad you could finally make it, Princess Amanda.
I'm very important.
Yes.
Last week I ran home and I intended to do a couple of chores before I came to the show. And one of those chores was I had a trash can full of compost tea brewing.
What is compost tea?
Compost
Sounds
tea
nasty.
is
it like compost A?
it's compost, like from a compost pile. Just
Okay.
nice.
It gets better.
Like
nice,
feces?
fresh. No, not feces, just dirt.
Oh, just okay.
Dirt that comes out of a compost pile.
So just decaying things.
Yes. So just dirt. So I wrap that in cheesecloth.
It's not dirt. It's decaying stuff.
Okay. So
But I
the
think,
decaying stuff.
I feel like this is going to be important in a moment. But
Yes. So I put it in cheesecloth so it doesn't like
like you do when you're a
Yeah.
hippie. Yeah.
yeah. So it doesn't like go all into the trash can. It's kind of contained. And you put that
It's similar to why we use tissues. Yeah.
Yeah. So you put that in a trash can full of water for like 4 days. You let that stew. Yeah. So all of the good nutrients and stuff get in the water, and then you can water your garden and your lawn with it. Well, I started
So
to
it's like
do that.
homeopathic plant water.
No, it's actual plant water.
Yeah, it's plant water. It's good stuff for the plants. Anyway, so I put the submersible pump in the water and I started spraying it, and it came off. The hose came off of the submersible pump, and so it just started spraying.
So it was like the money shot in a porn movie.
Yes,
Only it was
it
just
was
you
terrible.
and decaying material.
Yes. And then I was like, fuck, I need a shower if I'm gonna go do this thing.
I feel like if you could
like-
record that, you would make a lot of money on YouTube.
I was like so done. I was just like, fuck, no. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna take a long hot shower, and then I'm gonna take a long hot bath, and then I'm going the fuck to bed.
You're the reason the Archbishop hates women so much.
This is probably true.
Dirty girls with compost tea all over.
That's right.
You probably could make a lot of money on some weird porno fetish
I
site.
probably could.
Rule
There's-
34.
There's women that just sit there and eat cheeseburgers and stuff. There's
you
got to be
go.
something for a lady that just douses herself with
Composted
composted water.
Yeah,
Somebody's got to be into that.
I'm sure.
I'm a little aroused thinking about it. All right. So, for first topic up for post show, I have no idea what this means. Reb wanted to talk about Hitler's micro penis. I have no idea what this is about. Please enlighten me, Reb.
Well, because apparently recently there
Allegedly, we don't want to get sued by Hitler.
were in his family, right? Yeah.
That would be the worst thing that Hitler's ever done.
Actually, that would be really, really great publicity. So
Hitler.
this is definitely true, 100% true. what
Local
Reb's saying.
atheist podcast sued by the
Estate-
descendants of Hitler.
Yeah. Whose side do you want to be on, guys? The atheists or
Or
Hitler's?
Hitler's. So what happened is apparently there were some historical medical records about Hitler that were discovered that showed that he had a micro penis, which means he had like really itty bitty teeny weeny
Smaller
penis.
than Rebs, even.
Smaller than one. Yeah. But it's so small that like there's not even like a penis. It's just like just a hole that you pee out of, basically. It's
Like a glorified.
vagina kind of thing almost. Just with like
It's like a
the-
second belly button.
Yeah.
and he only had like one testicle apparently, and like
Yep.
the penis he did have, it was like it had I forget what it's called, but it's where like instead of like the hole that goes forward, it's like under the penis.
What?
Penile hypospadias.
Yeah, so basically, like if he had a regular penis, if you had this condition, instead of the pee hole being like at the tip of it, where you pee out, it's like underneath the penis, like right. And so
Oh, that's
like,
kind of cool though, because
Yeah,
like you could
yeah.
really surprise someone with that.
it's like surprise, ha, right in the eye.
You can do that with a normal penis.
No, because most people are gonna look at the tip of the penis and be like, oh, I'm gonna
I'm gonna dodge. I'm gonna like Neo. Whoa. No, you can't do that. Tech Leslie in the chat room wants to remind everyone that the email address to complain about our behavior is god@atheistairwaves.com.
So apparently,
This does make me very happy because it makes me think that Hitler just like urinated on himself all the time.
Like on his shoes.
Like that's why he was so pissed off at the world. He's
Well,
like,
and that's-
somehow I'm gonna blame this on the Jews.
He's in the bathroom. He's like,
well, and apparently that's some psychological problems, and that's why he
that would do it.
hated people. And I guess like a lot of Jewish people had bigger penises at that time. Like they had so much penis they were cutting off parts of it because it was too big.
I have that
You know,
problem.
so-
Yeah.
I'm sure he
my
probably
gosh.
felt like even more emasculated, at that point that like they have so much they're cutting it off. Fuck those guys. I'm gonna kill them all.
This is really interesting information. I'm not sure what if it's apropos of anything.
But there's some conflicting accounts that maybe those historical records aren't accurate.
So I know there's shrinkage like when you're in a cold pool, but maybe there's shrinkage when you're like you set yourself on fire in a ditch, or someone. I guess he shot himself in the head and someone set him on fire. Maybe there was some shrinkage there due to the fire. So maybe let's just be fair to Hitler. I think that's very important.
Sure.
Sure.
So,
But at least we got introduced to the Hitler's Balls song.
Yes, and we'll play that. We'll play the post show out with the Hitler's Balls song. I'm a big fan. Suddenly, I've never heard of that before. I don't know. I guess
I don't
you.
know. Apparently, your grandparents are no fun. Because
Can I introduce some science-based facts about? Can I like bring the whole?
no.
go for it.
So Reb doesn't have any science and facts, but I like literally I had no idea about any of this stuff. But I knew he wanted to talk about this, so I looked up micropenises. There's a study out of the UK.
For other reasons, you guys. He was just
I'm
curious.
a grower, okay? There's a study of the UK that shows that men who have been diagnosed with micropenis were comparable to control men in this study in regard to their opinions on gender issues, body image, social fitness, sexuality, work, family adjustment, and the presence of psychopathology. So it doesn't seem like having a micropenis is...
When was the study done?
It was 2011, I think. I don't have
I was
to
wondering if
say
it's like before or after the inception of porn. Because after that, it's like see all these dudes with like huge, dicks and everything. So
I'm so inadequate. And also they say that most treatment, psychological treatment of people with micropenises consists primarily of supportive therapy, wherein the boy is just reassured that his penis size is normal for him. And like that doesn't make me feel any better. I'm like,
do you think Hitler got that psychological
1930s.
training?
Yeah, probably not. But apparently, according to these studies, having a micropenis is not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you can't do anything with the rest of your life, although it may feel that way.
So can we talk about porn for a second?
Yes.
Okay.
This is post show.
So here's the other thing that I was thinking the other day because I was watching some porn and it was like it was a blowjob video and the guy was not well endowed and I was just thinking like if I was a woman I was like when I see this guy take it, I'm like oh thank God this will like good okay so this will be less traumatic than other so having never performed fellatio on someone, that was just, so maybe someone's into that sort of thing. But for me, I would be just relieved.
My assumption is
Oh,
the
micropenis.
bigger
It's
the
like, I'm just
penis,
like, oh, wow.
the harder it is on the person's jaw.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So, like...
Right, Amanda?
Don't look at me. Homie, don't play that.
So I'm just... I don't know. I think there might be some benefits. I mean, I'm just saying that perhaps you might get more...
Blowjobs
Yeah.
if you have a micro penis.
It could be. Because, I mean, who would care? Like, would you even really notice? That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so ashamed of this show, and then at the same time, so proud.
It's like you're almost trying to like convince somebody, like of course it's.
Do you know how much oral sex I get because of my micro penis? Like, let's move on. This is the worst.
You would use that. You'd be like, That's normal, right? Yeah, that's totally.
It's like that guy with that bigger one. No, he has the issue. He's got
Yeah.
macro penis.
What a weirdo!
Penis.
What a weirdo!
Oh dear Lord. Reverend Redbird in the chat room asks, what the hell is this discussion? I don't know. It was my idea.
This is what we do.
This is we're professionals. Stand back.
Basically, what happened earlier today is I was going through the news and I saw an article that talked about Hitler's micropenis, and I got in our little this chat group for the show and said, like, hey, we should talk about Hitler's micropenis in post-show. And everyone said, all right. And that was all that went into it.
Oh dear Lord.
Who doesn't love a rousing discussion about Hitler's micropenis?
So if you have an arousing topic for post show that you would like to suggest,
Please.
yes,
Please help us.
if
This
it's
is
better than Hitler micropenis, it's a winner.
Kitty Scary in the chat room says, like, I had to ask if it was in. I think that's a confession. She says, okay, TMI over. I think it's a confession.
Earlier on there, she
So-
said she's seen one,
Oh, did she? I missed
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
and it is.
yeah,
it was-
that
was
would
it-
be terrible.
But isn't it? But
Was it medically diagnosed as a micropenis, though?
Oh, who
or was it
cares
just a
about
guy with a really small penis?
But so we're gonna move on. But Katie Scary, please, I really want to know. Was it kind of a relief a little bit for some things?
Where you're like, oh, okay, this isn't gonna, like, I'll be able to walk straight tomorrow.
And I mean, like,
Oh,
if you want,
boys.
I know every woman
You're
has
so-
to worry about that the next day after
so
they're
cute.
with me.
Boys think
Like, I know they
penis
see
is
and they're like,
the most powerful thing.
I'm gonna, after a night with Reb, I'm gonna have to limp to work tomorrow.
Screw that. I'm calling off.
That's right. Oh my.
all right. So the next thing we want to talk about, while Katie is giving us a detailed description of what it's like to
A
be with
blow by blow, if you will.
Katie Scary says, no, it was not a relief at all. Tech Leslie in the chat room says, you learn to turn away ones that are too big. That seems like an awkward moment. Like,
That's
oh, no.
no.
Can you imagine, like, that guy just, like, all his life has been told the bigger the penis, the better, and then you get there, and it's like, it's too big? What?
But I'm the man.
Everyone in the high school gym locker room was jealous.
Right. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about, and we're going way far away from Hitler micropenis at this part, so if you're
Just look away.
thinking of
Ferris.
unsubscribing at this moment,
Well, there you go. Katie said he was orally talented. So you just
There you
gotta
go.
make up for your shortfalls.
well, it's like being blind and your hearing gets better.
When you lose one of your senses, the others get better. He's like the Spider-Man of micropenises.
You want a micropenis guy for the oral. That's all I gotta. Yeah, I feel like that's a thing. This is totally
That's the way that's
unscientific.
gonna work. Yeah.
And like the sense thing, that's also not a thing. But I feel like it is for micropenis men. Oh, jeez.
I guess Hitler was probably really good at oral. Then.
I wish it,
That's why Eva Brown was so stuck around.
It's like
it's okay. You can kill some more Jews.
the Holocaust of an entire race of people, but really good oral.
We are the worst human beings.
Consistent orgasms over.
Yeah. Multiple orgasms? Thank you.
It's not like all the Jews, right?
It's only the ones in our country and the surrounding provinces.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. So I also wanted to talk about what, for me anyway, is a brand new problem that religion causes, and I just became aware of it this week. So you know how, like, in the presidential election, every single Republican says that God spoke to them and said, I want you to run for office, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that seems like a good troll to me. And so, you know, if there were a God plus one, that's awesome. You tell a whole bunch of people, oh yeah, you're my guy.
Same thing with football teams.
Yeah.
God, let me catch this throw, and God, let me throw that, pass.
Right. So apparently there is this rampant phenomenon among Christians wherein God is telling dudes that specific women are going to be their wives. So God will say, see that chick over there? The one you've never talked to before who doesn't know you exist? That I'm going to make her your wife. And then, and often, like I said, these are women that they don't even know. And so these dudes are going up to these women and saying, God told me. And these are Christian women. So they're like, at Christian universities or whatever. And these men are going up to the women and saying, hey, we're going to be married someday. And women are a little put off by this.
Does the pickup line work? That's because it sounds like a pickup line. Like, hey, beautiful, the Lord told me that you and I are meant to be together.
Bitch, he lied.
Yeah, apparently it's not working because the story I was reading, there's a lot of restraining orders against God and his minions.
It's like all of a sudden a whole new crop of atheists pop up. It's like, no, God doesn't exist now. I decided.
I have evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Katie's scary in the chat room. Going back to Hitler. I'm sorry we're going back to Hitler.
But that's such a good comment, though. You
You gotta read that. She says, that explains the stash is the German tickler. Oh, God.
Oh, my.
So I feel better because our chat room people are worse than we are. So if you think we're bad, you should see who hangs out in our chat room.
They are our Frankenstein. We created
Yeah,
them.
we created them.
They are our Donald Trump.
And now they're strangling poor girls, blind girls. And I don't condone it. I think it's kind of amusing, but I don't condone it. I'm not sure how I would react to that personal. Like,
Well, I would think
Yeah.
if you're the woman that gets approached with that, at first you probably think like, is this some sort of creepy pickup line?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
God's okay, whatever. Are you gonna
Okay,
buy me a
dude.
drink or what? I mean,
No,
You're not
God
allowed
is
to
against
drink.
that. Yeah.
That's that. I guess then you get to like, oh, you're serious. Leave me alone.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
at that point, if he doesn't, like, I guess you have to pull out the restraining order.
well, and again, it just kind of points to the fact that so many people say God tells them stuff, and like, shit's not happening. These people aren't becoming president. Creepy guy is not marrying the really hot chick that God promised him. So either God is just he's just fucking with everyone.
Mysterious ways, yo.
It's gonna happen. You just gotta wait till you're like 80. But totally swear.
Yeah, you have to wait till like you incapacitate her and then
Put her in the van. Put her in the van. Use the chloroform, dude. I am the Lord thy God. You will use the chloroform.
use the holy chloroform. Bless it first. Put her into the holy van of matrimony, and then
Take her to the swamp
the holy swamp.
where I will marry you.
The show got really dark.
I know, right?
That's people ask me like why I don't use Uber, and basically what you're describing. Yeah, that's it right there. Nope.
Take her underneath the bridge of matrimony.
This is seriously a weird problem, though. I mean,
I wonder how often it works.
like almost never, I have to imagine.
Well,
Yeah.
almost never, but it's like pickup lines. Like if you use it 1,000 times and it works one time,
Well, there's got to be that one person that they all like looked like the confirmation bias, like it worked for that guy. So I mean, there's got to be at least one where they're pointing to like, look, he did it. It worked for him.
No, I think what Ryan is saying is absolutely true. This is what pickup artists do. They do the same stupid shit, but there's going to be someone who's going to react well to it. So it's just the law of averages. You do it 1,000 times, you're going to get one person. And so,
Yeah.
does it work? Sure.
Yeah,
One out of
some
1,000
really
times.
like sheltered religious girl is like, "Oh, hooray!
Right, if you get
God
her-
has sent me a husband."
Jesus told you.
If you go to her parents first and pay her dowry, then yeah, sure, I'm sure it
Basically.
works after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly how pickup artists operate. I can remember I was like 17, and my friend, his older brother, got him this book like how to meet women or whatever, and basically the entire book is just ask everyone you see out. That's how that works.
Right.
And so if you tell every woman that you see that the Lord told you that you're gonna marry her, one of them will say
one of them is
yes.
going to be as crazy
Yes,
as you
there
are.
it is.
Yeah, and that, then you can have crazy town marriage under the bridge of matrimony.
Hey, how do the restraining orders work? Like, is
Reb, how many have you had?
I tried to get a restraining order once, and it is difficult.
Is it?
Yeah, unless they have done something that is like physically threatening, they would not do anything for me.
That seems kind of
Counterproductive.
yeah.
It was like, wait until they're violent towards
Right.
you, and then we will
I-
keep them away from you.
Because it seems like that should be a really low bar. Like, I don't want this person messing with me.
You would think.
So, can you please tell them that they may not harass me?
No.
I don't
No.
care.
Well, isn't there
would not.
already like a blanket like you can't like physically harass or any kind of harass? Doesn't that already exist in society, like law wise?
yeah, but try to prove like verbal
Yeah,
harassment.
it's very difficult. Like, okay, so I had this ex, and he would show up at like 2:00 in the morning and just knock on my door until I woke up, and he'd be like, "I don't want to freak you out or anything. I just brought you a
Too
rose. I just brought you a rose because I was thinking about you." And I was like, "You are creepy as fuck." But you call the cops, and they can't get there in like 5 minutes.
Right.
By the time they get there,
He's gone.
he's gone. And you're like, "Look, there's a rose on my car. That is creepy as fuck." And they're like, "No, that's sweet." And I'm like,
That is not sweet.
"No!"
Have you been to the bridge of matrimony?
Yeah. I was like, "No." And then, yeah, like,
It's
we
like,
had
give me your fucking address, officer, and
Yeah.
I'll knock on your door at 2 a.m. in the morning and tell you, here's a rose to express my love for you. And you see how fucking
Yeah.
creepy it is.
Yeah, super creepy.
You get shot.
Yeah, I had a Girl Scout troop at the time, and we had a sleepover at my house. And my co-leader went out to her car to get something, and she comes walking back in very quickly, and she's like, "So, he's over there in the bushes." And we had to like be very quiet because we have a house full of like 11-year-old girls, and it was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go in the other room real quick, and I'm gonna call the police." And
So you have a bunch of small girls.
Yeah.
And there's a creepy guy jerking off in the bushes.
basically, it was like nobody goes outside, just everybody watch the movie. Everything's totally cool. But yeah, he did nothing physically threatening, so I could not get a restraining order.
Wow.
Even like to have him come onto like your front, could you post like a no trespassing sign or anything?
Well,
or-
but he wasn't technically on the property. He was just kind of.
Well, if he comes and knocks on your front door, though, I mean, you can.
Yeah, and it was an apartment complex. So I lived in an apartment complex. So they were just like, "Sorry,"
So
because he could stand across the parking lot, and somehow that's not
Right.
harassment.
So do they list like Yahweh on the restraining orders and stuff? That's
Right.
what I'm wondering.
Yeah, yeah. God and all of his associates must
They
stay.
were- yeah.
But I'm everywhere, dude.
Well, you're not in this 1,000-foot radius.
Yeah.
Or your ass is going to jail. Okay? Apparently, it's not that easy. All right, last thing. I wanted to talk about the meeting Reb and I went to last night. Humanist meeting here in Corpus Christi. Ostensibly, the discussion was going to be about atheism, secularism, and politics. And it was so frustrating and awful. Basically, we were in a room full of atheists and supposed humanists who think atheists should stay in the closet in exchange for political power, though, to their credit, they're willing to throw gay people and racial minorities under the same bus. So,
How do you stay in the closet to gain political power? So, like, you wait until you're elected to something and be like, "Ha I fooled you."
Well, especially like what I was trying to say. So what we should do is if you're asked about your religious affiliations, because somebody's going to ask,
Right.
you're just supposed to climb up and say no, or just outright lie to them.
right.
And at that point it was just like, oh, well, it's like, well, something. I got to say something. What would it be? You know, and then they're just like, we should make it more about like your. It's like you're exactly right. I should make it about my policies. I should make it about why I think I'd be good for the position. But it doesn't matter what the fuck I say. As soon as someone asks me my religion and I say atheist or not affiliated, or I clam up and just don't answer the question, my whole candidacy is now all about that, whether I want it to be or not.
Yeah, it would be great if we lived in a world where nobody cared what stupid religion people were to be politicians.
That would be great.
It would be awesome.
And I even told the one guy, it's like, you can hope in one hand and shit in the other and see which fills faster. And everyone was like,
Why did they?
Because they're all like 90. But
but it's like, come on, people. And they just kept on going back to it over and over again. It's like, you're right. We should just live in a world where it's just about policy and just about what...
we don't live in that world.
Yeah, we don't live in that world. Yeah.
And I'm 100% sure there are people, well, maybe not listening to this because there's only, a dozen people listening to this, but I'm sure there are people who listen to our podcast who would agree with those people. And so I wanted to talk about why people are so fucking scared. I mean, the whole Hillary Bernie thing, it's like, oh, he's a socialist, blah, blah, blah. That's such a stupid thing to be afraid of. And being afraid of people finding out that you're an atheist, such a stupid thing to be afraid of. I mean, okay, maybe personally, especially if you're dependent on other people who would freak out, fine. But
yeah, if your livelihood, like your food and shelter depends on people not knowing you're an atheist, I totally get it. Don't come out as an atheist. But if you're running for a politician position, to run for office, I think it behooves you to be honest about who you are if asked.
And it won't change unless you do.
Yeah.
Nothing will change.
Right.
You may not win. Straight up, I acknowledge that, especially in the Bible Belt, you acknowledge you're an atheist. You may not win. But if enough people over time keep running and the atheist thing comes up over and over again, people will eventually say, I don't really care. I'm more interested in what your policies are. But right now, we're not there yet because not enough atheists have tried to run.
I'm actually surprised that Bernie Sanders didn't take a bigger hit for his dodge.
I was too.
He dodged.
But
I mean,
except
it was fine.
he did worse than dodge. The first time he dodged and he took hits, people were like,
It sounds
He
like
was
he's an atheist to me.
He's like, oh, my religion is, I think we're all connected. And everyone's like, that sounds like some bullshit. And so they kept coming at him until he said, oh, no, I think everyone believes in God. And it's like, oh, fuck, here we go again.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to say what that guy believes, but he does not believe that everyone believes in God. Okay? That is not what he believes. I am going to tell you what he believes. The Reverend Redbeard in the chat room says, I'm sure the majority of politicians are atheists if they were honest. They just want votes so they pander. I'm not sure about most, but I'll bet.
I'm sure there's a couple, yeah.
There's a lot.
I agree with the second part of that wholeheartedly. Like,
right.
They are all pandering.
And I'm sure there's a lot of gay politicians that just refuse to say they're gay because they're,
they're afraid.
Yeah.
They lack moral courage.
And it happens all the time because you see a lot of them, get busted with, male prostitutes. And they're like, oh, no, I was just high on drugs.
He was carrying
a dick
my
fell in my mouth.
Katie Scary says, I think the more people who come out as atheists, the better. Make it not weird, not taboo. Fucking exactly. And that's what I'm talking about, is that nothing changes if you don't change what you do. And you look back to JFK in the 60s, who, before JFK, being Catholic was not okay in this country. And he changed the public opinion on that. And now we have a Supreme Court who is majority Catholic. It's way okay to be a Catholic now because someone had the moral courage to say, yeah, I'm a Catholic. And that's not going to mean that I'm going to be a Jew-hating baby eater. I'm going to be a good president regardless. Then you look at Mitt Romney. Didn't even win. But
everyone loves Mormons now.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone, but
Mormons were not even considered actual Christians.
Yes, I had a lady at work ask me because her niece or something moved to Utah and got involved with the Mormons, and she's like, "Is it a cult?" I was like, well, not any more than you. I found a nice way to say it, but I was like, not really. It's just same sort of shit.
They're all cults. I mean, the definition of cult encompasses all that shit.
Yeah, I was just like, what do you want me to say, Rio?
Man, I tried to pull out some street epistemology on the humanist last night, but I think I failed because I was a little bit too sarcastic about it.
But sarcasm and street epistemology, not.
But it was like, can Maybe I'm just ignorant of history, but can you guys, help me think of any movement over the past 100 years that gained any traction by people just not talking about it and not pushing to get their beliefs into the public square? Did that ever? I personally can't think of any that. But
Maybe
if you
you
can,
can.
Maybe if you can just throw some of that out, educate me a little bit. I'm not super educated, and of course it was just, yeah. I mean,
they started
sarcastic.
yelling. Yeah, they started yelling. But it's absolutely true, and I mean, they're really old, and so I mean, and this is the other thing that really pissed me off is because they were, outright said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I keep saying you're too young to understand, but,
But
you
you're
are. Yeah,
You'll grow into it." Or
so
whatever.
I feel not at all saying they don't get it because they're fucking old. Tech Leslie in the chat room says, I feel like I talked to them like they were assholes. I don't know if it came across that way. I'm pretty sure it did. Well done. High five. I know I did.
Yeah, Christian got on a soapbox there for a minute. He was like, just let me just, and then just a huge tirade about integrity and honor, and just afterwards just felt like there should have been a slow
I know.
clap.
I did too. I like at the end of it, I was so proud of that speech. Like I wanted to say, today we declare our Independence Day.
It's the day we call the ends of the apocalypse.
I felt really good about that speech because it put them all back on their heels.
Someone should have recorded it.
Seriously. Samoon Sam in the chat room says, I'd say it's even more important to openly run as an atheist in an area where you will definitely lose anyway. You only have something to gain at that point. Amen. That is exactly right. And what they do, I mean, we live in deep South Texas. Democrats aren't winning shit here. And we have candidates the last couple of cycles who will bend over backwards and kiss the ass of right-wingers.
It's like, guess what, guys? I'm a Republican, too. I just have a D next to my name. Well, that's weird. That's gross.
How'd that happen? You should totally vote for me anyway. And they don't. They get... Wesley Craig got 29% of the vote in the last election against the dumbest person in Congress. Seriously, Blake Farenthold, look him up. The dumbest person in Congress, this man. And he got less than a third of the vote. So you're not helping us, and you're not helping yourself. You're not gaining anything. All you're doing is hurting.
And whenever I drove into base today, there was a whole bunch of people with Blake Farenthold signs up. And I was just like, oh, you guys are so stupid.
All right.
I hate you all.
He's got an even worse challenger this primary,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, that's great. He's and the Color Times, our local newspaper, actually endorsed him. Because they're
the crazy
oh,
pants guy.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of Blake. It's have you seen this other guy?
Yeah, he's a lunatic.
At least Blake is worthless.
Right. He's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right, so we are out of here for the night. Thank you for hanging out with us, chat room. We will be back next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central. We are going to leave you with the Hitler Only Has One Ball song.
Woo!
See ya.